The ballroom fell into an uneasy silence. 50 pairs of eyes fixated on me as my mother's hand cracked across my face. I staggered backward, stunned by the sting, both physical and emotional. The fiery imprint of her fingers burned into my cheek, while humiliation gnawed at my chest, sharp and persistent. My brother Daniel erupted into loud laughter, like a child reveling at a circus, clapping with glee. The crowd hesitated, unsure whether to look away or indulge in the spectacle. My father leaned back in his chair, sipping his wine, a flicker of amusement dancing in his eyes. "Serves you right," he muttered without a glance in my direction. What they didn't realize was that I had anticipated this moment. I had seen the storm coming even if I hadn't known exactly when it would strike. That night I dialed 3 numbers. With each ring, each voice on the other end, I set off a chain reaction that would shatter their world. By dawn, their carefully constructed reputation, their power, and their facade would lie in ruins. I am Isabel Whitmore, the daughter no one truly asked for, the afterthought in a picture-perfect family portrait. The Whitmores were legacy, perfection incarnate. Wealthy socialites with political ties, their empire built on ruthless decisions and spotless appearances. From childhood I was conditioned to be quiet, polite, obedient, ornamental. My elder brother Daniel was the golden child, heir, leader, favorite. I was the mistake. My parents, Gregory and Elaine Whitmore, set high expectations, but made it clear I had no place in them. Daniel was groomed to run the family empire. Meanwhile, I was molded to be invisible, learning to read between their silences, noticing their dismissals, feeling the exclusion from decisions, celebrations, and even conversations. Daniel could do no wrong. If he failed a course, it was the teacher's fault. If I excelled, it was dismissed as what I was supposed to do. While he received mentorship in boardrooms, I was tasked with decorating tables for charity luncheons. Despite my master's degree in economics and offers from prestigious firms, I was seen as nothing more than ornamentation. Yet I endured. I adapted. I smiled for the photos. I played my role. But behind closed doors I listened. I learned. I remembered. Everything changed one weekend when my parents left for their lake house, leaving me alone at the estate. To distract myself, I volunteered to catalog old family archives. Photos, documents, news clippings. That's when I found it. A sealed manila envelope in my father's study labeled only with the initials DV. Curiosity compelled me to open it. What I uncovered felt like my first real taste of power. Inside were forged contracts, illegal land deals, hidden slush funds through shell companies in the Cayman Islands, unreported political donations, payouts to silence former employees. The Whitmore Corporation wasn't just corrupt, it was criminal. I didn't panic. I photographed every document, backed up the files digitally, and returned the envelope to its place. No one suspected a thing. From that moment I began planning my escape and my revenge. The catalyst came months later at Daniel's engagement party. The grandest event of the season, hosted at our estate ballroom, with over 200 guests, live classical music, a champagne wall, and a curated list of dignitaries, tycoons, and aristocrats. I wore a midnight blue gown that hugged my figure, my hair pinned delicately. To the world, I appeared the perfect supportive sister celebrating her brother's moment. But inside I was burning. Charlotte, Daniel's bride-to-be, approached me during the reception, pale and trembling. Clutched in her trembling hands was her tablet, showing screenshots of the confidential files I had anonymously sent her that morning. I'd meant for her to find them after the party, but curiosity had prevailed. "Is this real?" she whispered, voice trembling. "Daniel, your family, are these crimes true?" "I don't know what that is," I said, feigning innocence. "Someone's trying to sabotage the family," she whispered, unconvinced. Minutes later, Charlotte showed Daniel what she found. He confronted our parents. Chaos erupted. I was summoned to the center of the room, like a prisoner on trial. My mother didn't hesitate. Without warning, she slapped me in front of everyone. The pain wasn't just physical, it was betrayal, raw and unrelenting. Daniel clapped his hands, smirking. My father's lips curled into a sly smile. Guests whispered among themselves. Humiliated, I didn't fight back. I simply excused myself, my expression unreadable. Walking calmly out of the ballroom and down the corridor, I reached my bedroom. I pulled out my phone and made 3 calls. First, I reached Leo Santos. a relentless investigator who had been trying to bring the Whitmore family to justice for over a decade. He'd watched his efforts buried, his warrants denied, his sources silenced. "I have everything," I told him. "The paper trail, the accounts, the voices." He hesitated. "This could make you a target." "I've been their target long before this," I replied. "Now it's my turn." I sent him the files. 20 minutes later he called back. "This is going to change everything." Next I called Amanda Bell, renowned for taking down corrupt politicians, tech giants, and media moguls with her fearless reporting. "Do you want the biggest story of your career?" I asked. She replied instantly, "You have 2 minutes." I sent her the data. Silence stretched across the line before she responded with a slow, low whistle. "This implicates half the state's business leaders and politicians," she said. "Exactly," I replied. "I'll need your permission to publish." Not asking why I was doing this, she already knew. Her voice was steady when she answered, "You have it. I'll go on record." She was my mother's older sister, the black sheep of the family. When I was 10, she tried to take me away. She had seen the bruises, the neglect, the cold dismissiveness. But the family threatened her with legal action. She lost custody, her reputation, and moved to a small coastal town seeking peace. I tremblingly picked up the phone. "It's Isabel." "I've been waiting," she said, her voice strong. "What do you need?" "Just stand by me. Everything's about to fall apart." The next morning the news hit like a meteor. Headlines blared. Whitmore Empire implodes in scandal. Another read. Massive raid exposes elite family's criminal ties. Detective Santos arrived with federal agents. The estate was swarmed, helicopters hovered overhead, reporters camped outside. Daniel tried to escape in Charlotte's car but didn't get far. My mother collapsed as agents confiscated her jewelry and phones. My father barked legal threats until he was shoved into a black SUV. Guests from the engagement party watched in stunned silence as the raid unfolded on morning television, sipping their lattes. I stood behind a column as my family was taken away, and I didn't shed a single tear. A week later Charlotte reached out. She wasn't angry, she was thankful. "I knew something was wrong with Daniel," she said. "But I couldn't quite put my finger on it. After I found those files in his study, I knew I had to act. Your email gave me the courage." It turned out Charlotte had been secretly working with a rival family to bring down the Whites. Her own relatives had been victims of past scandals involving the family's misconduct. We formed an alliance. She helped expose more hidden information and I assisted in revealing just how deep the rot ran. But peace always cast shadows. Weeks later Detective Santos called me. "Your mother is offering full cooperation. She's made a deal, immunity in exchange for her testimony." My blood ran cold. Elaine Whitmore would walk free while the others paid the price. Not after everything. I dug through old family recordings and found a dusty cassette from my childhood. Buried within was an audio clip of my mother laughing, admitting to bribing a judge to cover up a wrongful death suit tied to a faulty product the company had released. I sent it to Amanda Bell. He ran the story. Public outrage exploded. Protests erupted nationwide. The deal was immediately revoked. Within 12 hours Elaine was rearrested. The trial stretched over weeks. Every day I faced a courtroom filled with faces I once called family. I took the stand calmly detailing every crime: fraud, conspiracy, perjury, racketeering. I exposed them thoroughly, honestly. Daniel shouted that I was ungrateful. My father refused to meet my eyes. My mother pleaded silently, eyes filled with regret. I had already mourned the relationships I once thought indestructible. Verdicts were handed down. Daniel, 25 years for fraud, conspiracy, and obstruction. Gregory Whitmore, 35 years for racketeering and illegal financial operations. Elaine Whitmore, 20 years for perjury, bribery, and coercion. Their empire crumbled. I left the estate, the city, the legacy behind. I changed my name and founded a non-profit supporting whistleblowers and investigative journalists. Amanda became my co-founder. Together we grew stronger, fueled by truth. My Aunt Marissa bought a small property near me. We often shared coffee on the porch, reminiscing about old times and creating new memories. One rainy afternoon a letter arrived from Daniel. "You destroyed us. I hope you're happy." I didn't reply. It wasn't about happiness anymore. It was about freedom. The freedom the girl they tried to bury had grown into a woman who refused to be silenced. The house of lies had burned to the ground, and from its ashes, something stronger had risen. Me.